Welcome back to another episode of Heroes of Might and Magic. In this episode we will just cover two heroes, Kilburn and Maximus. What's this? I am also here. Okay then, 3 it is. All hail Alamar. The hero starting with today is Lord Kilburn. Did you know that Kilburn is actually based on a man with a mustache? You see, that's why he has a mustache. This might be the man he's based on. As you can clearly see in this picture, this man does in fact have a mustache. And as we already established, so does Kilburn. Now some conjecture. There is an area in northwest London called Kilburn. And I can see the developers of Heroes of Might and Magic 1 just looking at a map of England and just picking some funny sounding names. There are plenty of those, and Kilburn is definitely one of them. Lord Kilburn was a loyal ally to Morgan Ironfist during his lineage plot against King Ragnar, his cousin. When the wizard Cuthbert betrayed Morgan, Kilburn was one of a host of warriors joining Morgan when he stepped into a portal, taking him to Enroth. Skilled at wielding a sword and bow, Kilburn acted as a commander in Morgan's armies during the First War of Enrothian Succession, aiding sporadically in the battles against Lord Slayer, Queen Lamanda and Lord Alamar. When the war came to an end with Alamar's defeat and disappearance, Morgan was crowned king, and Kilburn was rewarded for his faithful service. Lord Kilburn outlived Morgan and swore fealty to his son Roland Ironfist upon his former king's death. 25 years later, after the end of the strategic quest, Roland's brother Archibald had ousted several of the former lords of Enroth from Castle Ironfist, Kilburn among them, and the knight saw his duty to assist Roland in retaking the throne. He participated in the war alongside fellow leaders such as Lord Hart, Lord Halton, Gwyneth, Wilbur Humphrey, Ostric Temper, and Eric von Stromgard. When Archibald was captured, turned to stone and imprisoned in the Western Tower, Lord Kilburn resumed his service in Ironfist. 8 years later, in 1162, Kilburn was the first of Roland's generals to investigate the Night of Shooting Stars and the resulting Cregan insurgent. Kilburn disappeared near Blackshire and was presumed to have been killed by the devils. Roland then personally led a second expedition towards Paradise Valley, this time prepared for war. He too was defeated and captured by Sinofex. In 1165, the heroes of Enroth recovered the last evidence of Kilburn's existence, his old shield bearing the insignia of Castle Whitewolf, and returned it to Wilbur Humphrey, who lamented the knight's death and awarded them with his vote on the High Council of Enroth. Lord Kilburn almost appeared in Heroes 3, but was cut before the game was released. His mustache was just too OP for Heroes 3. On his side during the two wars, Kilburn had the half-orc Maximus, a half-orc knight. Who could have thunk it? I think Maximus is the inspiration for one of the plots of Heroes 6, namely the orcs being allies of the Griffin Duchy. In Latin, as you can probably tell, Maximus means the greatest or the largest. Russell Crowe's character from The Gladiator was named Maximus Decimus Meridius, and considering The Gladiator came out in 2000 and Heroes of Might and Magic 1 came out 5 years earlier, and Maximus was introduced in Might and Magic Isle of Terror, which came out in 1991, Maximus from Heroes is probably not a reference to The Gladiator, as that's not how time works normally. In Might and Magic, Maximus is an evil half-orc knight, and one of the pre-made playable characters. He also appears in Might and Magic for Blood and Honor. Maximus starts with 15 hit points and is equipped with a short sword, scale armor, shield, helm, leather gauntlets, and leather boots. When the Lincoln crashed on Enroth, Castor and Resurrector decided to split the party and go their separate ways. Castor joined the forces of Deja, and Resurrector went to aid Bracada. Maximus chose to follow Castor, and the group ended up as King Archibald Ironfist's advisors. Maximus is a skill trainer in might and magic for blood and honor. He can be found in the west area of the main section of the pit, usually standing behind Dr. Robbie, and teaches Master Blaster / Agent weapons. His services are free and the party members must have 7 ranks in Blaster first. Master Blaster is available to all classes. In Hero 6, Maximus is indubitably the most unusual knight of the Holy Empire. His grandfather, an orc slave master serving the Holy Empire, refused to follow Kunjak during the Orc Crusades. The Great Liberator respected his choice, sparing his life, but breaking his legs. Due to his family's poor reputation among the orcs, Maximus knew he could never hope to join his people in the steppes or on the island, so he decided to make himself a place in the Empire instead. First as a servant, then as a squire to an old wise knight who recognized his talent. The turning point in his life came at the great tournament of Falcon's Reach. The Emperor had promised knighthood and lands to the winner. Maximus defeated all his opponents, his popularity magnified with each successful match. By the contest's end, he was acclaimed as the greatest, hence his name, and the Emperor had little choice but to grant the orc the promised rewards. He later appeared in Might and Magic X. Maximus is a captain of the Sopingal Guards. He can be found in the town garrison at the north gate of Sopingal. He is very proud of being an orc high in the Empire's service. Maximus is very polite and articulate for an orc. Unfortunately for him, that's why he was kicked out of his tribe. He was knighted by John Morgan and is now loyal to the Empress. As for Lord Kilburn, born to a noble family in the Unicorn Duchy, Lord Kilburn grew up a happy, privileged child, gifted with a single particular talent, a meticulous eye for detail. Entertaining parlor tricks, counting the number of buttons on a lady's dress in a blink of an eye, stating how many flagons of ale the serving lady had spilled over the night, for example, were harmless fruits of his ability until the Inquisition enlisted Kilburn's help in the wake of the Blind Brothers' prophecy, heralding the return of the Faceless, the dreaded children of Manasseh, the Dragon of Darkness, unquestionably drawing up detailed lists of hundreds upon hundreds of common folk he had encountered during his travels through the Imperial lands. Lord Kilburn's jovial nature was shattered when he realized his lists were being used to round out suspected Faceless on evidence as scant as the presence of a black cat. "I'm sorry, Whiskers, you have to go. They're gonna suspect me of being a Faceless." So it's kind of the opposite of Schindler's List. Kilburn was a worshipper of Alrath and a Sun Crusader. He notably defeated the Archlich Merinor and simultaneously discovered that a cure to the infectious contagion spread by the putrid Lamassu in battle was sleep. Having his faith shaken by how his talent had been used by the Church of Light, a disheartened Kilburn undertook a quest across the Holy Empire, hoping to find Alrath and a new meaning to his life. Eventually he met Duke Anton of Griffin, whom he befriended. On the path of tears, he remains at Anton's side, fighting against the demons invading the Empire. In Might and Magic X, in 575 YSD, Kilburn was taken by Empress Gwendolyn Falcon to establish a new map of the Aegean Peninsula. He is known to be a grandmaster of combat with a shield. Lord Kilburn is located at the Magic Observatory in the Yonkarl Forest. During the events of the Falcon and Unicorn DLC, Kilburn helps thwart the schemes of his own cousin, Duke Oswin Unicorn, who was plotting to overthrow the Empress. He eventually marries Crusader Rosalie, the long-lost daughter of Lord Monthbrad, the previous governor of the Aegean Peninsula, and is made a new Duke of Unicorn by Empress Gwendolyn. Legacy. One of his descendants, Rowena Unicorn, later allied herself with Ivan Griffin against Amilcar and his allies. His other descendants include Edric, Evelyn, Godric, Fiona, Aidan, and Freda. Now Alamar. King Alamar is a character that appears in Might and Magic Book 1, The Secret of the Inner Sanctum. He can be found in Castle Alamar, conveniently named after himself, just in case he gets confused later in life. In his castle, he asks the party to find the crypt of Carmenza, an unsolvable quest, as the crypt doesn't actually exist. Clever girl. In the fabled Castle Doom, the party comes across a prisoner locked in an iron suit. The man turns out to be the real King Alamar, imprisoned and replaced by a demonic alien being known as Sheltham. When the party frees him, he gives them the Eye of Gorons and asks them to confront him. When they do, Sheltham throws them into the soul maze before leaving through a gate to another world. That b****. If the party travels back to Castle Alamar after escaping from the soul maze, the real King Alamar thanks them for the rescue, advises them to seek the inner sanctum, and tells them to live long and prosper, which I think is a reference to something. Star Wars maybe. I think Hagrid says it to Frodo after Frodo gets his superpowers. After Sheltham's defeat, Alamar's daughter Penelope was born. On her 25th birthday, Penelope was kidnapped by the vengeful lich Cuthbert and held in the dungeons of Castle Dragatoon. Alamar rode to rescue his daughter, but that was the lich's goal all along, and Cuthbert ultimately slayed the king, plunging Varn 4 into chaos. In Heroes 1, Alamar is the main bad guy, and one of 4 lords you can fight for. Alamar and his rivals vied for the supreme control of Enroth, battling one another for the town of Gateway, rulership of the archipelago of the Ancients, possession of the Eye of Gorons, and the mainland itself. After Slayer and Lamander was defeated, Iron Fist and Alamar warred directly. When Alamar launched a sweeping attack on Iron Fist's homeland, Iron Fist was forced to teleport home and abandon his offensive. Ultimately, however, Iron Fist succeeded in breaching the Warlock's capital city and sundered its walls. Despite his brilliance, Alamar's might proved inferior to Lord Iron Fist, and he was cast down. Though Iron Fist was ultimately crowned the ruler of the kingdom of Enroth, Alamar managed to flee into distant realms and resurfaced 2 decades later. In Heroes 2, Alamar is introduced as a playable character and served one of the sons of his great rival, Iron Fist, the evil one, Archibald. Unlike Kilburn, Alamar wasn't cut from Heroes 3 and appears as one of the warlocks in the Dungeon faction. His note says, Alamar served Archibald Iron Fist during the Succession War and was barely able to escape Enroth following Archibald's defeat. He has since taken up residence in Nyon, where he secretly serves the Dungeon Overlords. Later he shows up in Lumia City as the great and powerful Malamar. All hail Malamar.